Hey, it's Miles, and I'm here today to do my first backtest with me. So let's go. Let's backtest with me. So I'm gonna do April. As you can see, I've already drew out all the lines. I've taken the trades too. So in this video, I'm just gonna show you what my thinking is behind each trade. So let's go. So yeah, how I do it is I just use the replay tool, go to my time frame, and go to the month where I'm gonna trade, and I just play it as if I was trading in real life. That's really it. That's really all there is to it. So this is my strategy here. So I'm entering immediately after a breakout candle closes above a clear recent high by more than 10 pips. Maximum 40 pips, give or take 5 or 10, so maybe 50 pips is my real maximum. I'm actually not too sure yet. That's why I'm actually doing these back tests, because I want to see how I can tighten up this strategy to make it more robust and perform better in the markets. So yeah, this is a recent high, so I'm waiting for it to break above by more than 10 pips, less than 40 pips, give or take 10. So you can see here it actually breaks above, but if I try to go into that trade, you can see here 113 pips, way higher than 40. So it's not even in the question. That's not a trade. So I keep it moving. Makes another recent high there, and it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't actually cross. So I'm not actually getting into a trade to buy it because the market's not actually going higher yet. And that's the good thing about the strategy. The strategy tells you, it gives you a signal. It tells you if the market's going to trend again. So you can see here, market was trending a little bit here, but it stopped, came down here, and now market's coming down, gaps down, and you can see it made a recent high there, and this is actually when it fell. So in April it falls quite a lot. I'm not taking any sell trades because this strategy doesn't work as well with sell trades. Plus I looked at my data from the last year, and my sell trade data was 16%. I think out of 40 trades I won 7, so it was terrible. It was 42 trades actually, but still it's just, the record is terrible. In fact, I think I can even show you on FTMO. Yeah, these are my sells. So all my majority of my losses come from the fact that I'm selling. Majority of my wins come from the fact that I'm buying. So it's a no-brainer. Cut out the sell trades, stick to the buying. But back to this. So yeah, there's another recent high. Market's it's in a downtrend, and it's sort of made a bit of recovery here. So but yeah, keeping it going. Yep, just waiting. And so we're 2 weeks in, we're 14 days into April, and we haven't taken a single trade. So that's something to note. And there's the first trade, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna bring it back. So the build up is pretty interesting because there is a recent high here, but there's also a recent high here. Now this one you could say is a legal trade. You could say this is a trade right here. There's a recent high, price does break above it. Now if I go into it, it's just above that 42. It's just above that 42. The only thing is, because it made a recent high here and price didn't breach that recent high, in the back of my mind I'm thinking, this is not really a strong setup. Not only is it above that 40 pip max, but it's also not even above the most recent high. So the next one here breaks that. So now we've broken not only this one, but we've broken this one, and I can't pull this all the way down here. So this is the only one that makes sense. again, it is above that 40 pip. So this could be a good case to say, hey, when it's above 40 pips, we shouldn't take it, because as you can see here, price comes straight back down. So not only is there an issue with which recent high do I use, but there's also an issue of it being more than 40 pips in the stop loss. So I would probably rank this setup as a C plus setup, because the recent high isn't clear. Also because of the congestion here, the congestion of all these candles, it's not very great. It's not great at all. You know, the wick, so the confusion of the recent high, the congestion here, the fact that it's more than 40 pips makes me give this a C, which is the lowest grade, by the way. C plus is the lowest grade. Anything lower, then I'm not taking the trade. But yeah, here's another one. So here's another one. So there's the recent high there. It's a clearer recent high. Price breaks above it pretty confidently, and at 8 o'clock we go in. This one's a bit of a weird one. This one's weird because if I come down to the 15-minute chart, you can see we get in at 8 o'clock. So we get in here. We get in at this candle. Price instantly goes up and actually touches the TP. But because it's so close, it may miss it because of slippage. For whatever reason, the broker might not close the trade. So I tend not to count these in the back test, because it's not guaranteed. There's a chance that it might not actually go through. And when you're back testing, you should be conservative, not aggressive. You shouldn't give yourself wins just for the heck of it. So I didn't count this one as a win, because it does come back down and hit the stop loss. But in terms of the trade itself, you know, we are in an uptrend. We've kind of made higher highs and higher lows. We are in an uptrend. So the only would I say, so it's 37. It's below the pips. Would I say it's a strong uptrend? Probably not. We're kind of in this range here. So we kind of broke up here, came down here. It's not. It kind of was in a range before it broke out. So it's not the strongest setup. It's not like this textbook setup here. But yeah, it's not like the best setup, but it's definitely a good one. So I'll probably give this one a B plus setup. It could technically win as well. So, you know, it's a good sign. But yeah, so there's a new recent high, but then I got another recent high here, which comes up and actually does win. So this is in a range. This is another range. The range is still on. So, you know, people might even call this a flag pattern. You know, if you're into that, you know, you could even call this a flag. There's two channels there. You know, but obviously I'm not trading that type of thing. But you can. But there's a breakout here. It's about 30 pips. This is the 3rd week of April, by the way. So these two trades were the 2nd week of April, or sorry, 3rd week of April. So we're 2 weeks in. These two trades will be the 3rd week of April. This one will be the 4th week. So we're on a Tuesday, and 4th weekend, and we win. You know, so that's what the win looks like. You get in there, instantly wins. Those are the trades I like. That's kind of similar to the trade I took this week. You know, you go in straight away. You know, price comes up pretty high, and then it just goes through. There is even an argument here to say you could take this trade here. There is even an argument for that. To be honest. But it is over 50 pips, so it probably wouldn't be. So yeah, that's no argument there. But again, it won. So that could be something to consider. Just saying. But here it was more of a clear, like, this is the previous high. We need to reach for this part. And yeah, it gets there pretty confidently. What would I rank this? I would probably rank it a B as well. Price is starting to make higher highs, but it's because it's not in a clear uptrend. It's not in the best uptrend because it's been ranging. There is a chance that it could have reversed up there, and we're gonna find out if it actually reverses. And it doesn't. It actually keeps going. So my analysis was wrong there. Okay, analysis was wrong. It actually shot up. So this is the start of that big peak, this big uptrend. So, you know, if we kept if we held that trade, obviously we'll have to extend the stop loss. But if we held that trade, you know, you're into big monies. But this is not part of my strategy. This could be an idea for my strategy, like finding a way to trail my stop so I can get these big moves. Because once it breaks out, you know, it can go to the moon. So yeah, but I just want my 2-to-1 at the minute. That's it. That's all I want at the moment. Here's a new one. So we got the recent high there. We got the recent high here, but it is contested because could you count this as a recent high? It is a recent high, sort of, but this is more confidently the recent high. So this is definitely a B plus setup. It wins, so there's no complaining there. But it's definitely a B plus setup. It's not the most. I'm not the most confident in it. You know, would I see this in real life? It depends really, because this is what it looks like. You know, prices made a little high. It's come up here. It's come down here. It's made a little high. You know, it's made a little high, and then it's come that down. And, you know, we're waiting for price to kind of break that high there, or breach this high off here. And, you know, you could argue, hey, this one was the same. This one was pretty similar. So, but obviously this one was above 50 pips. But, you know, you could argue that this is a trade. The only reason why you don't take it is because it's above 50 pips. Same with this one. The only reason why you don't take this, well, the reason why you take this one is because it is part of the strategy. You see this one here, this is part of the strategy. But this one here is part of the strategy, but it actually meets the criteria. It's below 40 pips, you know, below 50 pips. So we take it. And yeah, price comfortably goes to where it needs to go. In fact, it goes further. And would I say this is a A plus setup? It would. If I would say that, to be honest, because it's in an uptrend, I would say it's an A plus setup. I would say it's getting into that territory. Just because it's a clear uptrend, yeah, we're clearly going in an uptrend. It's an A plus setup. But if it was this one we're talking about, if we're talking about breaching this line here, then I would say it's an A plus setup. But because it's this little hook here, it's not an A plus. It's not a perfect setup. The fact that it's in an uptrend gives it points. You know, the fact that we just came from, you know, a big breakup, but a big break to the upside, you know, that's good. That's a good sign. But because the recent high isn't clear, it can't be A plus. It has to be a B. So this is a B, unfortunately. You know, that's a B, unfortunately. So yeah, but again, this is the 4th week of April. So the 4th week of April, you know, we got to win here. You know, so we got to win here. I think that these are the first two. So these are the first two after the 2-week break from trading. These are the first two. And then the 3rd week we got a win. We got 2 wins. And then yeah, this is the 3rd trade of that week. And yeah, it's another win. And again, it's interesting because it goes up quickly. Like I think we go in here at 11, it goes up, it comfortably hits above there. I'm happy with that. That's about 10 pips, so that's definitely not going to get affected by slippage. So, you know, as long as I go into the trade exactly at that time, you know, exactly at 11, I should be fine, and it should catch it. So yeah, so that's another win there. So that would be 3 wins in a row in 1 week. So, you know, the week before, 2 losses, and then this week we got 3 wins. So that's a good start to that's a good week. That's a good week. I might just say, hey, you know, I'm good for the month. I might even say, hey, I'm good for the month here. I've had a good week. You know, I don't really need to trade anymore. So, but yeah, but keeping it going. So this is the 5th week in April, the final week in April, and it's another win. You start off the week with a win. You know, it's just straight away. Would I call this one an A plus setup? I actually probably would. I probably would say this is an A plus setup. You know, we're in a clear uptrend. We got the recent high here. You know, recent high here is clear as day. You know, 24 pips, so like way lower than 40 pips. You know, because that's the best as well. The best is when it's not as volatile. So when the stop loss isn't as big. That's what I like. I like it when it's way below 40. If it's obviously above 10 pips, but way below 40. You know, it's got to have a bit of volume to it. But this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. 24 is like, yeah. So yeah, it wins straight away. And it probably goes way higher. So it wins straight away and it comes back down. But that's fine. That's okay. I'm okay with that. And another reason why I like small stop losses is because the TP is small too. So I don't have to reach for a stupid amount of pips. If it was 50, I'll have to try and reach for 100 pips. But because it's 24, I'm only reaching for 48. So I can get in and out much more effectively. But price is still making higher highs and higher lows, so it's still creeping up. So there's a recent high there. So I'm just waiting for it to breach it. It does breach it, but it's after hours, so we don't take that. Makes a new recent high here. And I think this is the last one in April. And it's a loser, but that's okay. So we get in here, and then the next candle it just falls down. Would I call this an A plus setup? I would have called this an A plus setup, but the only thing that's held it back is this wick. Is this huge wick right here? You know, if I look at the high, the high is 616, and you know the close is 562. So that's about 60 pips. 60 pips. And it opened at 500. So really that's a body here. You get what I'm saying? It opened here, it went all the way up here, and then it lost 50% of its position. You know, the bulls lost 50% of their position. You know, and if you go down to the 15-minute chart, you probably see what happened. So, you know, it started off pretty strong. In fact, let me just double check what time this closed. So this closed at 8. So this candle closes at 9. So 9 o'clock, this candle here opens. So if you look at it, started off strong at 8. So at 8 o'clock, this is 7:45. 8, it had a big uptick, but then it just kind of came down. It didn't really do much afterwards. So I think this is it. Yeah, this is it here. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? This is it here. It went all the way up here, came down, shot up again, but then it didn't really reach its full potential. So it just kind of came crashing down. So that's why I give it a B. I'll give that one a B. It's not an A plus setup. It's not like, where was the one I saw? Yeah, it's not like this one. Even though if you look at it in hindsight, it's like, this can't be an A plus setup. But if you look at it like this is an A plus setup. This is a setup which is like gold. It's gonna win like 24 pips in a clear uptrend. You know, the body that won it isn't great, but the body that's actually signaling the trade is amazing. Look at that. Look at that full. It's almost completely green. So that's what I would like to see. But yeah, so that's an A. So we had one A plus setup, a few B's, and wow. So that was just completely reversed. But yeah, that's it for April. That was it for April. And here's the results. Recorded them already. And recorded the times as well, the amounts. So yeah, there was 4 wins in a row. We obviously didn't take a trade for the first 2 weeks, and then when we did start taking the trade, we had 2 losses. But then the week after that, the 4th week, we got 3 wins in a row, and then we started off the last week with a win, and then we ended the month with a loss, but still ended up with 5% for that month. So that's pretty damn good. I can't lie, that's pretty good. So yeah, I kind of like that. I like so that's kind of, I like the fact that I actually found out what an A plus setup looked like, because I don't think I've actually sat down and clearly identified what a B plus is compared to an A plus. So that was good. Noticing that C plus setup too. I think that C plus setup I have to look out for, because really I should be cutting out C's. I should be looking for B's and above. You know, B's and above, because you know, you're not always going to find the A plus setups. The A plus setups are really for, hey, let's double down. You know, they're really for double downing. A plus setups are really for, you know, the extra confidence boosts. You know, like, hey, I really want to make some money. All right, go for an A plus. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what they're made for, I think, anyway. At least my current knowledge, that's what I think they're made for. You know, B pluses you can still take, but a C plus, you should really be questioning whether or not you want to take that trade or not. You know, if you're up the month and you see a C plus setup, you probably shouldn't be taking that C plus setup. You may not even want to take the B plus setup. You may just want to take A plus setups, you know, so that's a thing to think about. But yeah, maybe the next video, what I'll do is I'll actually show myself trading in real time doing the back test. So yeah, it may be a little bit longer, but I'll probably speed it up and cut out some bits, and yeah, just show the back test. Maybe I'll just speed it up, and that might make it easier. But anyway, thanks for watching.